Hello, 15, 15th day of 30 days reading challenge. Today I am reading The Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, chapter part 3, chapter 2, page 217. Okay. No, it's not, answered Dunya firmly. Bah, you too have ideas, he muttered, looking at her almost with hatred and smiling sarcastically. I ought to have considered that. Well, that's praiseworthy, and it's better for you. And if you reach a line you won't overstep, you will be unhappy. If you overstep it, maybe you will be still unhappier. But all that's nonsense, he added irritably, vexed at being carried away. I only meant to say that I beg your forgiveness, mother, he concluded shortly and abruptly. That's enough, Rhodia. I am sure that everything you do is very good, said his mother delightedly. Don't be too sure, he answered, twisting his mouth into a smile. A silence followed. There was a certain constraint in all his conversation, and in the silence, and in the reconciliation, and in forgiveness, and all were feeling it. It is as though they were afraid of me, Raskolnikov was thinking to himself, looking askance at his mother and sister. Pulcheria Alexandrovna was indeed growing more timid the longer she kept silence. Yet in their absence I seemed to love them so much, flashed through his mind. Do you know, Rhodia, Marfa Petrovna is dead. Pulcheria Alexandrovna suddenly blurted out. What Marfa Petrovna? Oh, mercy on us, Marfa Petrovna. Sebetrikov. I wrote you so much about her. Ah, yes, I remember. So she is dead. Oh, really? He roused himself suddenly, as if waking up. What did she die of? Only imagine, quite suddenly, Pucheria answered, hurriedly, encouraged by his curiosity. On the very day I was sending you that letter, would you believe it? That awful man seems to have been the case of her death. They say he beat her dreadfully. Why were they? Why, why were they on such a pact? He asking, addressing his sister. Not at all. Quite the contrary, indeed. With her, he was always very patient, considerate even. In fact, all those 7 years of their married life, he gave way to her, too much so indeed, in many cases. All of a sudden, he seems to have lost patience. Then he could not have been so awful if he controlled himself for 7 years. You seem to be defending him, Tonya. No, no, he is an awful man. I can imagine nothing more awful. Donia answered, almost with a shudder, knitting her brows and sinking into thought. That had happened in the morning. Pulcheria Alexandrovna went on hurriedly, and directly after her, she ordered the horses to be harnessed to drive to the town immediately after dinner. She always used to drive to the town in such cases. She ate a very good dinner, I am told. After the beating, that was always her habit, and immediately after dinner, so as not to be late in starting, she went to the bathhouse. You see, she was undergoing some treatment with baths. They have a cold spring there, and she used to bath in it. regularly every day, and no sooner she got into the water than she suddenly had a stroke. I should think so, said Josimo. And did he beat her badly? What does that matter? Put into it. Hmm. But I don't know why you want to tell such a gossip, said Raskolnikov irritatedly, as it were in spite of himself. Ah, my dear, I don't know what to talk about, broke from Pulcheria Alexandrovna. Why are you all afraid of me? He asked with a concentrated, constrained smile. That's certainly true, said Tony, looking directly and sternly at her brother. Mother, crossing herself with terror as she came up the stairs. His face twirled, as though in conclusions. Uh, what are you saying, Tonya? Don't be angry, please. Tonya, why did you say that, Tonya? Luxuria Alexandrovna began overwhelmed. You see, coming here, I was dreaming all the way in the train. How we should wait. How we should talk everything together. And I was so happy. I did not notice the journey. But what I am saying, I am happy now. You should not, don't you? I am happy now. Simply in seeing you, Rhoda. Hush, mother, he muttered in confusion, not looking at her, but pressing her head. We shall have time to speak freely of everything. As he said this, he was suddenly overwhelmed with confusion and trembling. Again, that awful sensation he had known of late past, which deadly chill over his soul. Again, it became suddenly pain and perceptible to him that he had just told a fearful lie, that he would never now be able to speak freely of everything, that he would never again be able to speak of anything to anyone. The anguish of his tone was such that for a moment he almost forgot himself. He got up from his seat and looking at anyone, walked towards the door. What are you about? Carried Razumov, clutching him by the arm. He sat down again and began looking about him in silence. They were all looking at him in perplexity. But what are you all so dull for? He shouted, suddenly and quite unexpectedly. Do, do say something. What's the use of sitting like this? Come, do speak. Let us talk. We meet together and sit in silence. Come, nothing. Thank God, I was afraid the same thing as yesterday was beginning again, said Pulcheria Alexandrovna, crossing herself. What is the mother holding? Asked Avdotia Romanova distrustfully. What is the mother holding? Asked Avdotia Romanova distrustfully. Oh, nothing. I remember something, he answered and suddenly laughed. Well, if you remember something, that's all right. I was beginning to think, muttered Josimo, getting up from the sofa. It's, it is time for me to be off. I will look in again perhaps, if I can. He made his pose and went out. What an excellent man, observed Luceria Alexandrovna. Yes, excellent, splendid, well educated, intelligent. Raskolnikov began, suddenly speaking with surprising rapidity and a liveliness he had not shown till then. I can't remember where I met him before my illness. I believe I have met him somewhere. And this is a good man too, he nodded at Razumohin. Do you like him, Dunya? He asked her, and suddenly, for some unknown reason, laughed. Very much, answered Dunya. Oh, what a pig you are, Razumohin protested, blushing in a terrible confusion. And he got up from his chair. Lucheri smiled faintly, but Raskolnikov laughed aloud. Where are you off to? I must go. You need not at all. Stay. Josimov has gone. You must, so you must. Don't go. What is the time? Is it 12 o'clock? What a Pretty watch you have got to you. But why are you all silent again? I will do all the talking. It was a present from Marfa Petrovna, answered Dunya, and a very expensive one, added Placeria Alexandrovna. Ah, what a figure, hardly like a lady. I like that sort, said Dunya. So it is not a present from her fiancé, thought Razumini, and was unreasonably delighted. I thought it was Razumin's present, observed Raskolnikov. No, he has not made Dunya any presents yet. Ah, and do you remember, mother? I was in love and wanted to get married, he said, suddenly looking at his mother, cons- who was disconcerted by the sudden change of subject and the way he spoke of it. Oh, yes, my dear. Pulcheria Alexandrovna exchanged glances with Dunya and Razumov. Yes. What shall I tell you? I don't remember much indeed. She was such a sickly girl, he went on, frowning dreamy and looking down on him. Quite an invalid. She was fond of giving alms to the poor, and she always dreaming of a nunnery. And once she burst into tears, she began talking to me about it. Yes, yes, I remember. I remember very well. She was an ugly little thing. I really don't know what drew me to her then. I think it was because she was always ill. If she had been lame or hunchback, I believe I should have liked her better still. He smiled grimly. Yes, it was sort of a spring delirium. No, it was not only spring delirium, said Tonya with a warm feeling. He fixed a strained, intent look on his sister, but did not hear or did not understand her words. Then, completely lost in thoughts, he got up, went up to his mother, kissed her, and went back to his place and sat down. Do you love her even now? Said Luceria Alexandrovna. Her? No? Oh, yes. You ask about her. No. That's all now. As it were, in another world. And so long. And indeed, everything happening here seemed somehow far away. He looked attentively at them. You now, I seem to be looking at you from a thousand miles away. But goodness, but goodness knows why we are talking about it. And what's the use of asking about it? He added with annoyance and biting his nails, fell into a dreamy silence again. What a wretched lodging you have, Rhodia. It's like a tomb, said Pulcheria Elliston, suddenly breaking the oppressive silence. I am sure it's quite half through your lodging. You have become so melancholy. My lodging, he answered listlessly. Yes, the lodging had a great deal to do with it. I thought that too. If only you knew through, if if only you know too. What a strange thing you said just now, mother. He said, laughing strangely. A little more, a little more, and their championship, this mother and his sister, companions, a little more. A little more in their companionship, this mother and this sister, with him after 3 years of sin, will in intimate turn of conversation, in face of the utter impossibility of really speaking about anything, would have been beyond his power of endurance. But there was one urgent matter which must be settled one way or the other that day. So he decided when he woke. Now he was glad to remember it as a means of escape. Listen, Dunya, he began gravely and drily. Of course, I beg your pardon for yesterday, but I considered it my duty to tell you again that I do not withdraw my chief point. It is me or lose him. If I am stronger. You must not be. One is enough. If you marry Luzhin, I cease at once to look on you as a sister. Rhodia, Rhodia. It is the same as yesterday again. Luceria Alexandrovna read mournfully. And why do you call yourself a scroll? I can't bear it. You said the same yesterday. Brother, Donia answered firmly and with the same dryness. In all this three, in all this there is a mistake on your part. I thought it over at night and found out the mistake. It is all because you seem to fancy I am sacrificing myself to someone for someone. That is not the case at all. I simply marry for my own sake because things are hard for me. Though, of course, I shall be glad if I succeed in being useful to my family. But that is not the chief motive for my decision. She is lying, he thought to himself, biting his nail vindictively. Proud creature. She won't admit she won't to do it out of charity. Too haughty. Oh, base characters. They even love as much as they hate. How? Because I hate them all. In fact, continued Donia, I am marrying Pyotr Petrovich because of two evils I choose the less. I intend to do honestly all he expects of me. So I am not deceiving him. Why did you smile just now? She too flushed and there was a gleam of anger in her. Or he asked with a malignant grin. Within certain moment, both the manner and form of Pyotr Petrovich could showed me at once what he wanted. He may, of course, think too well of himself, but I hope he esteems me too. Why are you laughing again? And why are you blushing again? You are lying, sister. You are intentionally lying, simply from feminine obstinacy. Simply to hold your own against me. You cannot respect Luzin. I have seen him and talked with him. So you are seeing yourself for money. And so in any case you are acting basely and I am glad at least you can blush for it. It is not true. I am not lying. Cried Dunya, losing her composure. I would not marry him if I was not convinced that he esteems me and thinks highly of me. I would not marry him if I were not firmly convinced that I can respect him. Fortunately, I can have convincing proof of it this very day. And such a marriage is not a will, as you say. And even if you were right, if I really had determined on a bad action, is it not merciless on your part to speak to me like that? Why do you demand of me a heroism and perhaps you have not either? It is despotism. It is tyranny. If I ruin anyone, it is one myself. I am not committing a murder. Why do you look at me like that? Why are you so pale, Rhodia, darling? What is the matter? Good heaven, you have made him faint, cried Pulcheria Alexandrovna. No, no, nonsense, it's nothing. A little kidneyness, not fainting. You are fainting on the plane. Yes. What was I saying? Oh, yes. In what way will you get convincing proof today that you can respect him and that he esteems you, as you said? I think you should. You said. I think you said today. Mother, show Rodia Petrovich letter, said Tonya. What trembling hands Pulcheria and Trubna gave him the letter. He took it with great interest, but before opening it, he suddenly looked with a sort of wonder at Tonya. It is strange, he said slowly. as though struck by a new idea. What am I making such a fuss for? Was it all about Mary whom you like? He said this as though to himself, but said it in aloud, and looked for some time at his sister, as though puzzled. He opened the letter at last, still with the same look of strange wonder on his face. Then slowly and attentively he began reading, and read through twice. Julia Alexandrovna showed marked anxiety, and all indeed expected something particular.